We had Matt visit for a while, and he learned how to build some golf clubs. Happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there. Did some building. Let's talk golf equipment next on What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary here, and this is What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Why is it What's in My Drawers? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats. I'm no different. It's about what's in my drawers out in the shop and the things that we talk about, from golf club repair, golf club reviews, and golf club fittings. Also, your scores can go low. All righty. So apparently, as I was listening on the radio on the way to work, Camilo Villegas won. Good for him. He apparently found some magic dust that allowed him to play some good golf. Good, 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 good. I'm glad to see a guy like that return. He was always an interesting guy. I don't think he was ever going to blow up the stage, but the whole Spider-Man gig was kind of funny. And so that was nice. I'm glad to see some folks get some success. All righty. Another one is Happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there. And, it's one of those days that the government or the nation shows a little bit of appreciation. And just to keep with that mode, there's mine. Boom. And this is so old, it's taken with a regular camera. There's me. That's right out of boot, and Mrs. McGolf there right next to me with glasses big enough to blot out the sun, and my dad and my sister. So there we go. USS Whale, hoorah, right there. Okay. That was pretty cool. What do we do for builds? Here we go. Right there. So I needed to build this one up. How would you like to see the Mizuno 243s, a non-released Mizuno in the U.S., just right this very second? Here you go. Boom, there they are. Nice, huh? How about this one? Oh, there they are. Really cool looking. I told them we had it, and they asked me not to show the head, so there it is. How did I come across with these things? Well, a customer of ours apparently has a friend in Japan, and apparently they've got him out in Japan somehow. Only, I don't know, a month and a half to 2 months early. Wonder how that's happening. So anyway, he sent them to me. I put them together, and they're on their way down to him. Let's see. And here's a build. This was an emergency build to Pennsylvania yet again. So you can tell it's the black and gold Golf Pride grips and logo down. Everything was logo down for this guy. And that's all I've got of him. So what we did is some Titleist T150s. T150s, and we put the Modus shafts in there for him. Pardon me, not too bad. Then Matt came to calling, and that's what we put in his clubs. And that's what they look like with his Founders Club staff bag that he's had ever since he was a young pup. And that's a little bit more what they look like. And they're still in pretty fine shape, I have to admit. And then there was some of his grips. So, and I get to tell you of an error that I made. Do we still have it sitting there in the shop?
Where you left it?
Probably in there. So I am working on some U-Woods. There's a 17 and a 21, as you guys can see. And I fit the golfer into the new Apex, not the old Apex. But this is what the gentleman had, and he hit it pretty good. So he decided to get this. So I pull off one head, and I pull off the other head, and I go to measure the hosel just to make sure I'm putting in the right shaft, and this happens. That is the pin from my shaft and hosel depth measuring gauge that I've got, and it got stuck. And so I went to pull it out, and the doggone shaft is in there. In mechanical terms, this is what's called galling, where you have micro welding between two metals. Now, I've tried to pull it out, and I've got it to move just ever so slightly. And if you look, that's the vise. That's the vise eating this thing, and it will not let it go. So now I'm out one of these. So Mrs. McGolf has already went and obtained one. So I'm out one club. So if I ever figure out how to get that damn thing out of there, that'll be something. Today's barbecue comes to you from the ribeye. Now, that's just the ribeyes that we put out on the smaller Rectech. Turned out it's the first time I ever smoked some steaks. Not bad. You get the like on the fire grilled kind of flavor, and that's not too bad whatsoever. Then we did something that I've not done before, and we made apple butter. For these guys that know what that's like, making apple butter, Mrs. McGolf helped out. Here she is. Bam. She's stirring the pot, which she's really good at for some reason. And then, so just so you know that I helped, I stirred the pot as well. And we got it going on. And this is no small operation. This is what got made 150 jars. So this kettle is like this big around. You know, it's at least a couple foot in diameter, and it's very, very deep. And I got 4 jars. I got 4 jars. That won't last long. I love me some apple butter. All righty. Last but not least, Matt came to visit, and we started doing. And he wanted to learn how to put together his own clubs because he's got let's just say he has a wager with his buddies, and on being able to hit the upper end clubs. So we reshafted his set, and we're turning it into Teach the Teacher. Matt, unfortunately, the very first part about you and I wrestling those damn golf clubs to get them apart did not show up, except for when we used the shaft puller once. So I'm going to have to make something up in that one, but we're going to use some of these. So just so you get to see it, it really did happen. There's Matt, and actually that's him. So I do have proof. So the Founders Club he had Founders Clubs, and they're a fairly old club, and they were been in the shaft and the head have been together for a long time, and normally it's a pain in the butt to get them apart, and this was no different. And what was happening here was we finally got Matt used to using the butane torch, and if you can just see on his left hand, there's a little speck of a glove right there. And if it had a grip on it, on the back end, if it had a grip, neither one of us had enough mojo to twist it ourselves. So we would heat it up quite a bit, and he would get on one end, I would get on the other end, and then we'd break them free. If we couldn't do that, then into the shaft puller it went. And then if we didn't, it went in. If it didn't have a grip on it, we tried another vise, and if it didn't go into the shaft puller, it went. And there he is. He's heating it up right there. You can tell. Look at that concentration, that steely-eyed killer of the deep right there. All right. And then there's us. We're working on working with the auditor, which is what I use to measure length with. And we're making sure. And if we're not doing it with that, then we're checking the flow on a golf club. Then we get out here, and by that time we have the graphite shafts in it, and you can tell that he's wearing earplugs. So this is where we are cutting, and right on the other side of Matt is the cutter, and we were talking about where, when, and how to cut the shafts. And then last but not least, I was doing some loft and lies, and Matt was calling them out to me, and I was the one putting them together. So all in all, it was a fun time. Yep, Sally came down too, and Mrs. McGolf and Sally had a good time jabberjawing and talking to each other. So that was a good round all in all. So there we go. As far as fittings go, did we got to tell you about this. We did a fitting with an engineer that was an operational engineer for a car manufacturer. And he came loaded with a bunch of questions, which was really quite not new. It's not new, but it was refreshing because we got to talk about it, because I can speak engineer. And and when he was going through it, he goes, "Oh, okay, I get it now," and had to bust a few myths and kind of things like that. But all in all, had a really good golf swing. He retired at age 61, and now he's going to try and get into some golf. So I fully suspect that we'll be hearing about him later on doing much, much better. His short game was his Achilles heel, like in most beginners, and it was a matter of trust. And once we got him swinging and hitting the ball with the wedge, life was over. However, what we did get to see is he showed up just as my Callaway rep was leaving, and it was a good thing because he was showing off the new AI1 putters, and of course, the AI1 putter comes in two models. It comes one with the Odyssey face on it, and the other one with a metal face on it. It looks copper with a titanium backing, as best I can get out of it, and the other one has an aluminum backing on it with the Odyssey face on it, and they both have some. There's a window on these putters so you can actually see it, and there's some kind of configuration on the back. The one with the Odyssey face on it, and then one with the milled face on it, and they're different. And the idea is that you can get a little off center, not lose a lot of distance from the off center. That's been a thing in putters for a while now. The first guy that I was ever introduced to doing it was the guy that designed the Fat Lady swings when he was with Cobra. His name will come to me here in a moment. Anyway, he was the first one, and he had a HMS face, and it was in a high modulus system or something like that, or it was hole seeking material, HSM. He called it hole seeking material, and when you got off center, it would go basically the same distance, and it was really nice. It just the Cobra putters just never really took off. Anyway, that's a thing. The milled and so it's a little different this time around. The Odyssey faces and the milled faces are not like a 1-for-1, where you can get like one Model 7 with double bend or a double wide or all these other ones. There's very few that translate across. Okay, the milled putters has the, if you like the rosy style, the bigger mallet will be in that section, where the Odyssey putters will have others that are, they both have the Model 7, but both of them have different necks, at least the ones that are available now. They're also going to start going back to the broomstick. For those of you guys who are interested in getting the tall putter, right, the one that you can stick out here, you can't anchor it, but you can be out here or wherever. And there's going to be, I'd say, several models that are coming out. So, and the AI milled and the AI with the Odyssey face are here. The taller broomsticks won't be released till the beginning of the year, and it comes out in like a darker blue color with the white against it. Nice, easy to see, and it has a different shaft. Instead of the Stroke Lab shaft, it'll have it's a true temper shaft with those same kinds of characteristics, coming in at 95 grams. So it'll be slightly heavier. So for those of you looking for slightly heavier, still have the back weight, still be consistent for the backswing, that kind of stuff. And got him to hitting the ball pretty good with it. So not too bad. Also got to see the new releases that are coming out from Callaway. And all in all, for those of you, I'll just kind of put it this way. For those of you that like the look of the Paradigm, like the performance of the Paradigm, but didn't like the price tag of the Paradigm, you might want to hold on to your money until probably that January timeframe. They got something for that. All righty, I've gone about as far as I can. I've looked into the ragged edge, and I've looked into the abyss of where I can go from a marketing aspect, and that's where we're at. Okay, so let's talk to the folks. Going to the very top. Here we go. Matt is the first one in. Thanks again for an unbelievable experience. There's no rounds with the set. Huh? Says no rounds with the set. I will be at basketball practice, so I'll have to listen later. Have a great live stream. Hopefully so Matt's set starts at a 2-iron. All right, goes to 2-iron, and it's missing a pitching wedge, but it's got a 50-degree and then it's got a sand wedge, and then there's a 59. Actually, back in the day, the 50-degree was probably close to a sand wedge anyway. So we went and we had them all bent out, and so now they're all in spec the way he wanted them, and we should be good to go. So he's basically, from a loft standpoint, only going to be, well, he's going to be a club short. So if he used an 8 before, he uses a 7 now. There we go. Good evening, Jim and Robin and all of their followers. 42 out of 37 in the last week. Hope better that tomorrow, starting classes for 1 wedge, 3 swings, going okay. You are the man. Well done. That's a heck of a score, dude. Breaking 80. Charlie talking to Matt about having good basketball practice. Anyone else get made when they see someone take a divot? Oh, mad. Probably when they take a divot on the tee with a driver, sometimes twice, and then complain the tees are in rough shape. I want to take the club away. Yeah. Or how about that guy that gets mad at making his putt and leaves a dent in the green? That's a good one. Charlie's saying a good back 9. He's responding. Yes, I would agree. I can see when they chunk one, but 2 practice swings? Yes, I would agree again. First thing my dad taught me to bring to the course to caddy for him was respect for the golf course. And really, that's true, right? So you take a divot. Well, fix it, right? Fix it so somebody else doesn't have to and that somebody else can enjoy the game. Really, that's what you're there for. And then fix it on the golf. Yeah. Dude, we used to do it manual when me and Bob used to have a contest to see how many divots we could fix on a green. You know, if we didn't average somewhere around 36 a piece, something was wrong. Either somebody was good in front of us, or they were missing the greens pretty bad that weekend. But yeah, Mr. John Cherry, how are you, sir? Glad you're on. Charlie, I'm on with that one. You're right. We're talking about that one. Krister, how are you, sir? Sweden is really cold up in the north, and now there is snow. Owie, owie, owie. I saw some of the data that you were throwing out there on your Instagram. Looks like you're hitting it pretty good. So Charlie, just sort of look at here. That's all it is. That's the last of 1792. And I have to tell you, I kind of like this one. All righty. Here's Jim Anderson. Good evening, Jim and Ron. Hope you both are very well from a wet Scotland. Great build video last week. I'm glad that you liked it. We're going to be doing Teach the Teacher. The first one's going to start off kind of rough, but I did look at the rest of the footage, and it's just basically a whole bunch of conversations between me and Matt while we're doing work. Kind of a different format. It's pretty cool. Manuel, that's why I was taught fixtures and others years ago. If the super at the local course saw you doing that, he meets you and you came out and said thank you and gave you a free round. Well, I'd like to see that, but it's never happened to me, but that'd be cool. Krister had a past weekend a driver fitting for Titleist. The TSR 4 9 degree with Excalibur Phoenix tour stiff. And my new T150s. Oh, look at you. Look at you go. Turn into a Titleist man. Turn into a Titleist man, Krister. Will we be able to recognize you? Hopefully it stays there with you for a bit. Swinging down the mid-20s over here overnight. We got down into, it got below freezing for about a couple of hours. Today, at the end of the day, it was actually quite nice. But I fear that that's not for very much longer. Oh, I imagine that's right. The Z. All right. Hello from Southwest Ohio. Well, all right. Would you have any recent information regarding Jesse Ortiz of Olimar? Seems to have disappeared in the recent years. The last time I even heard of Jesse, and actually I talked to him for a little bit, was he was still with Bobby Jones Golf. Bobby Jones Golf, the actual equipment side of it seems to have fallen off the face of the earth. yet the clothing line's still running around somewhere. Mr. Ortiz is a very nice individual, willing to talk golf clubs and anything with you. He's a very, very nice guy. Travis K, New Jersey, checking in. Yay! Bring on the Odyssey IA video. Well, if there's a way for me to, I think I have it downloaded, but not on this computer. It's kind of a neat little, it's a neat little video. Robin talking back, as she does very well. All right, John Cherry asks, can a shaft be pured or frequency matched if you want the label down? If so, do you request it before those procedures? Does that affect the club in any positive or negative way? Well, John, I'm going to sound like a smart butt here real quick. It can be pure and it can be frequency matched if it orients in the downward line. So if the logo is down and everything works out, then yes. Frequency matching is not logo specific, but the puring is. All right, puring is. Now, when you're talking like Nippons, they orient their shafts logo down anyway. So a lot of the cases you get real lucky and you do that. When you get stuff like True Temper, as long as you get the ones that come with shaft bands and aren't really already painted, you can do all that stuff and then just put the label on. Unfortunately, nowadays, like Elevates and the DG spinner shafts and those types of things, those are painted on shafts now, or painted on logos, labels, whatever we want to call them. Unfortunately, you're stuck with that. So if you're kind of what I would call logo sensitive, just put it logo down and go with it. Now, is it the negative, the positive or negative is purely personal, okay? And I say this a lot. Now, the puring part of it, or the flowing and the spining of it, I believe it makes a more consistent golf club. There's others out there that would disagree with me, and they will say, well, there's no empirical data. Well, my answer to that would be is there's no empirical data then the other way either. And if I'm putting this shaft together in such an orientation that it gives me a more consistent movement, then how am I wrong? There are other people that will base it on that it twangs once and it goes right up and down, and they all go in that direction. Yeah, and that's because you're forcing it in that direction. That's a reaction to an action, and it's the second bounce that you really need to look at. But there you go. So there, for every person out there that's got an opinion, but I would say that now frequency matching you should be able to do no matter what. All right. You know what we didn't download? We didn't download Peter's putter.
Peter's putter.
And there's Peter right there.
Oh man, and I took some cool pictures.
Yes, you did, and I should have them. Hold on. We made a putter for Peter. Say that a few times fast.
Myrtle Beach Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to download it.
You forgot to down. That's the reason why I don't have them.
I was the one that took the pictures.
Yes, you are.
He doesn't get it till Tuesday because of stupid mail or UPS.
Oh, I got some.
You do?
I do. So let's see. Here's one, Peter. You guys can see that. Peter had me make a tall putter for him. And we put the Jumbo Max grip on it, which actually looks really cool on this thing. It's all black and white. There's the one right there. All right. So this thing is a big mallet, and it was made by BGM. If you guys remember the teardrop shaped putter that was really long, that had its own putting process that I put on Bob's putter, and he just putts lights out with. Well, apparently Peter picked a peck of putters, and he found one. And the thing is, the hosel is installed in there, and it was very malleable, so we were able to bend it upright for a very tall putter. And we used a BGT tall putter shaft, and I got to play with it. And it putts really, really good when you look at the hole. If you look down to see what you're doing, you're done. But you got to look at the hole. So it's a good feel. Charles Bartholomew, yes, 5 in the 2. Yep, there you go. Mr. Moody, how are you, sir? Hopefully you're not under too much snow just yet. There's Charlie. Hello. Phil K. You're Tobin right now. Hi, Tobin and Jim. Austin's gone from hot to chilly with no in between. Kind of nice, actually. I can only imagine, dude. I can only imagine. Here's one, Mel Abashir. All right. Thank you for joining. What do you got? Can you explain shaft weight? Sure. Why say a shaft is 90 grams? All right, shaft's 90 grams. With a set of woods or irons, they are all different lengths. How can they all be 90 grams? Well, that's one heck of a question. So there are two different modes of shaft manufacture. Okay. And they both end up going to the same spot. So say the first one says it's 90 grams, and it's, when you go to measure it raw, it comes out 94, such that when you cut it, the first one's closer to 90. Now, the other shaft manufacturer believes that whatever's on the label is correct, and it's 90 grams. So either way, whatever that because there's no standard, right? In an S90 or a R90 or a X95 or whatever, it means it's in that category, by the way. Anyway, so what happens is, how can they all be 90 grams? Well, they're not. All right, they're not, because you're cutting off. Let's say you're doing a parallel. So the first one might be an inch, the next one's an inch and a half, 2 inches, 3 inches, all the way up, right? And then at the other end, you're cutting off normally it should be very, very close to the same exact amount. So if you're cutting off this much at the 5, you're probably going to cut that much off at the pitch and wedge. All right, because now, how can that, well, what's different? Well, it's because of head weight. Head weight increases as it goes down the set. Typically now, and actually we talk about it in the Teach the Teacher, that Matt's typical 5-iron in the Founders Club is around 258. All right. In today's set, 251, 252 is a standard. 3 swing weight points, right? Because it's 2. Now, that's because when they were making those Founders Clubs, they were being made with shafts that typically dynamic golds or the standard rifles that were coming in at 120, 125, and at a standard length of about 37 3/4. And they were coming out at D4, sometimes D5. Now you go and you look up sets, they're in these 105 gram shafts, 190 or 252 head starting out, and you get where I'm going. And now the swing weight is somewhere closer to D1, D2. Now, if you've noticed, a lot of OEMs have disregarded the posting swing weights. You don't see that a lot anymore. And that's because they were mistakenly saying that when they go to put these, you have these, say, 115 shafts or even 105 shafts, and they were getting their D1, D2, D3 weights, and then they go to put in their graphite shaft because they always have to have a graphite shaft option. A lot of them were saying the same. Some of them were same swing weight. Some of them were going, oh, well, we'll say, D0 come out too shy of less than that. Well, in reality, it was a lot more. It was more like C7 or C8. And I was getting a lot of questions, a lot of guys going, well, what's it supposed to be? And I said, exactly what you got. As long as it's consistent across the set, there you go. Now, can you make them higher? Can you add weight and make them higher? Yes, you can. But there's just so much you can add before you start getting the negative ROI on that. And so adding 4, 6, sometimes 8 grams, no problem. When you start getting the 10 and you want to start throwing a whole bunch of tape to it, you're starting to get outside that. Now, the only difference here is We're talking about tip weights. And it's like Scott, if he gets on here tonight, we put a lot of tape on the back of his clubs, but we spread it around the bottom so that we weren't going to impact its design. And so that's where you go. So hopefully that helps you, Mel, and we can go from there. Is Wilson bringing out new irons and wedges soon? I noticed that their existing stock on iron wedges is dwindling. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. There is going to be I am miming it. Wow.
Yes.
I am calling it by its new name right now. I'm calling it Dynaforged. Dynaforged. It's coming out.
Did you mean to say renaming it?
Well, rename. I wanted to get the moniker or something like that. I want to give it its new nickname. Dynaforged. And actually what it's Dynapower Forged. It's going to replace the D9 Forged. And it's of course they've done little bits and tweaks. The back end's a little bit more stylish. It's a little bit narrower on the bottom. It's starting to come into its own, but it's going to be a forged iron for sure. It's coming out in that. The wedges, I didn't see anything totally different. Although there'll be 3 kinds of wedges, but I believe there already are. There's the high toe, the staff model, and then the tour model. Now they might come out in a different. They might come out in a different coating, but don't count on me being correct with that one. Also, Charlie, they're also going to come out with a couple of new putters. A couple of new putters with a lot of emphasis on the heavier putter, and all milled, all this, a bunch of extra stuff, and at a higher price point than their normal ones. But that's what I got out of it. The Dynapowers, their regular stuff, is doing very well for them, and so they're going to this. All righty. Terry Lockwood, happy Veterans Day to all those served. Thank you very much, and I would agree, sir. My dog Rex, just regret my putter, not as easy as my irons. Thank you, Jim, for showing me how to. You're welcome, bud. You're welcome. Using the little level, that little plumb bob level is a good thing. Look at that. His bag for 2024 is going to be all Titleist, including the putter. You got yourself a Scotty? I thought you said you did it earlier, not too long ago. In fact, one of the repairs that we didn't show you was I extended a couple of putters. Mrs. McGough says, "Hey, extend these putters." I said, "All right, no problem." And we went to bent them, and she goes, "Put these grips on." I'm like, "Well, you can put them on." And she hands them to me, and they're left-handed putters, of which her eye dominance does not fit a left-handed putter, but mine does, me being left-handed. And I put them on there, and so I got them on there, and I was like, "Wow, these things look really kind of nice." So I had a Scotty Newport, an older variety, and a milled Odyssey, and so it was really kind of neat.
Go get the boxes to ship.
Oh, you couldn't put them on either. Why would someone soft step a shaft or hard step a shaft? Well, when you do this, John, it's basically you're doing a tweak, okay? You're doing a tweak. So if you're going to soft step a shaft, let's just say you're that guy or gal that's just in the regular range, just under the stiff range. And instead of making a regular flex really, really hard, you can make a stiff flex soft. And that's probably going to feel a lot better. All right. And we're only talking, it's changing about a third of a flex for one step, and you're going to get a slight kick. These are not big wholesale changes. These are just small. Okay. Yeah, I didn't like the feel of that one. Oh, yeah, this one feels just a little bit better. And you get a little bit more kick, a little bit more performance. Okay. The other side is true going to hard step. That maybe you're just above it and you don't like that high ball flight and you want to bring it down just a touch. You know, you're talking like this, not like this, and you like that. But that's why you would do that. Also, another one would be is if you needed, some manufacturers if you needed added length, right? Added length. You could also do, man, I'm really talking it up today. Let's say you got an X flex and you wanted in the S flex range, but you needed a lot of length, like a very tall person like Matt, and you wanted to go an inch and a half, 2 or 3 over, and that manufacturer only believes in being an inch over. Well, you could go up one, go the next one up and bring it down. It might play softer, or get the next flex up and bring it down and make it softer. There you go. Michael, what would be the best paint to put on my irons? I have an idea set that I want to make better looking. Well, mine is, they show testers and they show this and they show that, and literally that's for kids. What I tend to use, there's one out there. So you're in Canada, there might be a Golfworks Canada out there, and Golfworks Canada very well may have that paint in a tube that has just like a needle on the end of it. You can squeeze it out and you can follow in through there. Really nice stuff. They also used to have stuff in the end of a pin that was kind of like a paint-filled Sharpie. I don't know if I necessarily like that one or not, but it's available. But the stuff that I tend to use is stuff that the car manufacturers use for pin striping. And I believe the stuff I got is called First Stop, I believe is what it's called. They sells it on Amazon, eBay, everywhere for the different colors that you would want. But it's the stuff they use for doing pinstripes on cars, and it's very, very, very durable stuff. There we go. John Lamb, Emmanuel, when my dad started taking me to golfing, I was taught very strictly to respect the course and your fellow golfers. There's a hard lesson, Tom. Sometimes he wouldn't let me play. There you go, right? Ooh, that's a good question, Charlie. Does that include the ball too, Krister? Hammer says he shipped the components for the 4-iron. All right. Charles, yes, I've decided to switch the models. Pro V or the AVX. AVX is softer and I like the feel, but it spins less. Well, in a lot of cases, that's not so bad, particularly off the driver. John Lamb, you should enjoy the apple butter all winter. A little cinnamon apple butter on raisin toast. You are not wrong. You are not wrong, man. Oh, yeah. That stuff goes on. It makes it on toast. It makes it on pancakes. Actually, around here, it makes it on pork loin. Really tasty stuff. He likes the golfer statue. Don't you, though? Isn't that cool? That one we've had for, I don't know, we had a name for him.
I got it down in North Carolina with anybody.
Yeah, we got
It's that stone.
There he is.
Short guy.
There you go. Apparently, he's a pretty famous artist. We've had him for a long, long time. He's still got that great finish no matter what we do to him. There we go. Casual golf. Just completed the Mitchell Golf School and brought all my tools and equipment. Super excited to get his business started. Well, good for you, man. Dude, I like the guys from Golf Mechanics and I like the guys from Golfworks, and I like a lot. And but the Mitchell bending machine has been in my shop since day one. Well, yes, in my shop. I started off with a very basic Golfworks one, and I realized very early on that was not going to get it for me. I am not that guy. Buy one, and you're done. And you're doing that with Mitchell. Now, I will say their shaft pullers, unless they've done something else to them in the past, which I don't know why, but the underlying fault in the shaft pullers was they only had a jaw about this big. It's only about 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, but you could squeeze it, but when you're doing graphite, you're at the risk of cracking it. And in the day when I was doing it, pulling Titleist, the Titleist bore throughs that were 4 inches in the bore through, that was a commonplace thing. And man, oh man, it was just such a brutally challenged, evolution that it made it really, really hard to do that. And I would wear out those jaws because they would start sliding because I had so much grip that eventually they just let go. Now, does it work? Oh, yeah, it works. And it's actually a space saver if you put the one that's in the vise. The one that mounts on the bench, just fine if you got the room. But that's where we went with that one. The measuring stuff, I never quite fell in line with that particular philosophy, but I will say it is 100% legal, and the differences are 1/16 to an eighth of an inch, so not a big deal. I'd be interested to see what you thought because you had to go up into Detroit, didn't you, in order to go there? That's where they're at now. Says Robin, thanks me. Hopefully, hubby. Oh, I got it. Casual golf. I came in there 2 months ago and you recommend Mitchell, so I did it. Well, very cool. Now, you got another one in there, Manuel. We got another one. So now you need to look at AGCP or the ICG now. Peway! Hey, Jimmy Robin. Best round Saturday. 74. Congrats, man. All right. Also just experimenting with a Cobra LTX LS head. I paired it with a green 65. Had a couple of drives around 340ish. Nice. The Envy Green, man, that's hard. That's been a standard in their arsenal for a long, long time. Green with NV, get it? And then they had NVS for envious, and so that's pretty cool. All right, he's saying thanks. John Lamb got into a bit of a heated discussion about grips. Does the grip profile, hard, medium, or soft, affect the shaft stiffness? I said no. It's more of a feeling. The stiffness does not. Okay. Man, John, you're having all kinds of discussions with these folks. So in reality, okay, the grip depends on how you want to approach this answer. The grip, in my opinion, is a shock absorber and it's a modifier, right? The golf club and its flex, the stiffness of that flex or the stiffness of that shaft with that head on it will not change. Now, if you were to, because keep in mind you are measuring right here on the butt section of a club, and you're doing frequency matching out here. So it's the stiffness of the butt section. All right. Anytime you put a grip on it, you've softened that grip. Soften the grip of that clamp. All right. You soften the grip of the clamp by doing that. So a standard grip, say like a Tour Velvet, is going to add somewhere around or take away actually about 8 CPMs. The hard ones will be like the ones with cord in them, around 6 to 8. The standard ones, like the Tour Velvets, probably around 8 to 10, or 10 to 12. Sorry, 10 to 12, and then the winds are closer to 15 to 20, and changes and differences. It would be my opinion that no, it does not change the flex because the change is underneath of it. What you've done is you've changed the way that you manipulate that. So what does that mean? That the argument back is, so if you have a very soft grip and then you clamp down on it like a gorilla, does that mean it comes back? Or if you have a very hard grip and you give it a light grip, does that mean it changed the flex as well? I mean, that's just right where it's at. Ranji, hello there. Bonnie Grace. Not Bonnie Grace, but his last name is Grace. Grace. What's his first name? Not Billy, not Bonnie. Bobby Grace. That's it. Bobby Grace. That's what it is. You're correct now. We're on the same page. Casual Golf says, thanks, Robin. John Lamb. Hi, Robin. Hope both of you are well. Enjoy the apple butter. Might be time for a few crepes. Yeah, there's another good one for it to go on. I agree. Steve Swiak, how are you, sir? And you're more than welcome. Here we go. I'm still confused on where I go when it comes to purchasing shafts and heads, creating my own matrix. Normally, you'd probably be just as successful doing that. It depends on when you get, depending on depending on how and how much you do, doors will open to different areas. You may call on Graphite Design. It's an upper end shaft, but they also take care of you pretty good. The Acra folks, you can go right to them, tell them I sent you, and the buy-ins are not gross, and you get really good product. And as far as Acra goes, they're also connected with True Temper, right? So you get the title of PCF, professional club fitter, and they give you access to a lot of the True Temper stuff. So it's like one stone, two birds when you do that one. You took the putter class. The only problem is they have those putter classes right in the middle of my day, and I can't get to them. And on a Wednesday, who does that? Right? Who does that? And but good. What'd you think of it, Emmanuel? Did you like the milled? Did you like the way that it looked? I want to try one of the Jailbird Counterbalance Model 7s. Those are going to come later on, more towards the beginning of the year. So when that happens, you'll be good to go. But that's when they're coming. And if you look on one of them, the way that the shaft goes into the way the shaft goes into the head is going to look a little bit familiar for those of you guys that like other golf clubs. All done. All righty. John Kelly, how you doing, sir? This chat is relaxing, informative, and enjoyable. I do try hard to be here. The audience has a lot. I'm glad. Well, now that I'm done with that, and I didn't want to give anybody a nod, but I am going to drink this. If you happen to get the idea of what I'm doing. I don't know if I can do it like that or. There we go. Ah, that was funny. All right. Mr. McGolf helped that out. Explore the Philippines. Happy Vets Day. You are an old CB. Nice. All my uncles were CBs, every last one of them. And that was back, I keep saying, some of them were Marines and some of them were Navy. And some of the nicest bases I ever visited were ones that had CBs on them. All right. Brennan Scott says the clubs are still doing great. Well, we like to hear that, man. Appreciate it. And they're saying hello. Hello. All right. C Forbes. Long time no talk. Yeah, buddy. Believe it or not, I work for Titleist now. Well, you go, boy. It's even a while since my father-in-law and I played with you in Caledonia. Oh, okay. Living in Massachusetts and working at headquarters now. Well, you go, man. So you effectively passed the application test, I see. And you got going. Well, good for you. That's awesome. Although the weather in Massachusetts, I will have to say, is probably a far sight different than it is down in the Carolinas. Well, congratulations. Put in a good word for me down there. Tell them I'm always looking for a good deal. Ryan Stivers, hello, man. We got all kinds of people coming back. Good to see you. Been busy with work and such. Played a 9-hole par 3 2-man fundraiser with my brother over the weekend. Shot a 20. Wedges and short irons are dialed in. Very good, buddy. Appreciate that. Glad to hear it. Robin saying, if you've been there, hit the like button. Since I didn't do that, if you would, like and subscribe, hit that stuff across the bottom, and that way more of these people get the information from into the YouTube universe, just what this stuff's going around in the banner across the bottom. Ron is saying, yep, he did it. As a former Ranger, yes, I got drafted for SC for the Southeast Asia Party. I'd like to say thank you to all the vets for your service. It's small, tight brotherhood, but thank you for my brothers in the arms. Well, dude, you are more than welcome, and thank you. I know for a fact Rangers are they're a limited breed themselves. A guy that I work for, he was a Ranger and an officer. He was a ring knocker, and he was very much a do what you say what you do kind of guy. Most forthright individual I've ever met. Very nice guy. And we always used to have the Army-Navy discussions. I would say, yeah, okay, I know you're an Army guy, so I'm going to use really, really small words. And he'd just shake his head. And then one day I was sitting there with a bunch of guys, and he came in, and he threw it right back on me. He says, look, man, I know you're a Navy guy. I'm going to use some really short, really innocuous words so that I know you can understand this. And I was just like, all right, I got you. And I knew we were on the same page at that point. All right, Jonathan Weaver, if you ever rolled a steel shaft and felt a lump spine, it's hard to think that the orientation of it doesn't matter. I know the spine finder, not pure frequency matcher. All right. If you've ever rolled a steel shaft and felt the lump spine, it's hard to think that the orientation of it doesn't matter. You would be correct, sir. And that's kind of the reason why that came about. That whole thing came about.
Question this morning. Forgot he's from Maine.
Nope. I'm getting questions handed in. All righty. It's a question on blade length. It says looking to buy new irons, but the only blade length information I can find is on the Wishon EQ1s at 83 millimeters. I guess I am looking for a toe to heel and top to sole dimensions of the club head. Any way of finding these dimensions from club makers? Not unless they want to give them to you, man. All right. Not unless they want to give them to you. There used to be, and you can go check. I'm trying to, if they still keep it up, and I believe that they do, go to GolfWorks, and they talk about how they categorized iron heads. Well, all the heads for that matter. Whether or not you heard that, you ever heard the term super game improvement? Well, that came from this measuring study. That ultra game improvement, super game improvement, players cavity, players, and so on. And what they were based on measurements that they took of the golf clubs. And it was up to date a few years back. And I would imagine they're still doing it. And I would look there, and you probably would be able to get that. Norwegian Warhound. That's just one heck of a name, man. I like that one. Hit the new Callaway CBs this weekend and really like them. About 75 mile an hour with a 7 iron. Played this style or blade most of my life. A viable option. Here they're good off the bottom. Well, if you like the way that they felt, but maybe at 75 mile an hour you weren't getting exactly the distance that you were wanting out of them, I would look at the Pro model. The Pro model is a little bit stronger, or you could just ask from the bent. At least I just only go about 2 degrees, otherwise it'll turn into a digger. What you're probably looking at, if you like that kind of look, is what they would call hollow bodies, which is the Apex Pro. The other one you might like that might come into play and looks a little bit nicer if you can go find the set is the ST Rogue Pro. That one is kind of a compact design as well, and it's much stronger and it plays well. In fact, I've got them. There's one right here. Hold on. They look a lot like that, and they look a lot like that. And what I did was I switched a grip, fellas. I switched a grip. I went from the Jumbo Max Ultralights, and I just got so tired of hitting off of the toe. I don't know if you can see that or not. See that? Look at that crud. That's awful. And I decided, well, let's check and see if it's not the grip, because Matt was just absolutely sure that this grip or that grip was the cause of me doing that. Absolutely positive. So I said, okay, I'll change one out. And I hit, I don't know, 20 or 30 golf balls, and I missed the face twice. And I mean, when I mean missing the face, I mean this part, not this part. I was in here, and I was hitting some pretty good shots. Now, one of the reasons why I went to that is because I was shutting the club. My path was a degree either way, which is fine, but I was shutting the club, and what was happening was I would take this thing, and as I got through it, I would go, or actually, yeah, I'd go like this, and I thought it had something to do with the hands. Well, what it was, but what I figured it out was as I was gripping too lightly with the grip, and the minute I actually gripped it, all of a sudden it started going right where it needed to go. Now, it doesn't mean death grip, but it needs to be a little firmer than it was. So there we go. Steven, what do you say, man? Home recovering from a second hip replacement. Ooh, but you'll be back by April. That's good to hear. Very good. And congratulations on making it back to the house. Keep doing that, right? You know better than anybody because you have the first one. That rehab, that's important. Don't get stuck in the chair. All right. I'm proud over a group. He got himself a Groove It brush. Good for you, man. That's awesome. Oh, very cool. Hey, look, he's talking with Mrs. McGolf. She'll like that for all the rest of the day. So the other part about that Warhound is that depending on, you can pick up a little bit of speed at 75, depending on what you like, but like a 105 shaft or even a 95 gram shaft, or pick up a little speed might help too. All right, John Land, my draft number was 12. I was in active duty in the Navy when the Army sent my induction notice. I like it when I got the selective service. I got a notice from the selective service while I was actually in boot camp. They sent me a letter there and said, if you don't sign up, you'll never get all these things and you'll never get all this other stuff. And I just started laughing. And they're like, well, it's kind of hard for me to do selective service when I'm already here. And the funny part was I had already signed up at the local post office because at the time you couldn't join unless you did do that. All right. Robin saying hello to everybody. All righty. Glad to see the PT starting. Very good. There's Jonathan being saying hello. Mel, you're more than welcome, sir. Ryan Tracy, Wilson has some new grinds available, I believe. Aha. Okay. Maybe the other ones at the tour level might look a little different. Hopefully we'll see. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if they're any stronger. They're not going to be any stronger than I'm aware of. They're just going to be a little more stylish. My putter will be a Scotty Cameron Fastback. Nice. I like that one. Quick questions. I have a very short freshman on my team who is new to golf but wants to upgrade. I talked about U.S. Kids Tour, Ping, Prodigy, ladies petite sets are all are all too short. Any ideas? The ladies sets are they're all too short. Hmm. So you could do. Here's a couple of things you could do. Let's go with this one. You could go get when we get newer golfers, like new to golf kind of thing, and they're on the golf team kind of jumps the shark on whether or not they're going to be interested in golf because they're playing. But what you could do is go to what we call golf in a box. And there's some places out there that sell golf sets and the men's golf sets, junior golf sets, that kind of. There's juniors out there for matter of fact, depending on how strong he is, they have golf sets for teens, and it's not as strong as a men's regular, but is also stronger than a lady shaft. And the ones that do that, who does that? Wilson. Who else does that? Teens. We want teens. The other teens, you could do like that. Look up teen golf packages or something along that lines. Now, the other thing you can do if this guy is stronger, like he's very athletic and has a pretty decent swing speed, you can do is get that same golf in a box for men's and regular, take it to the local shop, or just take it from the floor and take it back to wherever they work on clubs and have them cut down to whatever specification you might like and regripped. And then you'd be right there. The reason why I'm pointing you at golf in a box is the person is brand new to golf, and if he's still figuring it out, then golf in a box doesn't break the bank. Now, there's a limit, there's a lower limit where your return is not that good. And so you can get something like the guys that did it the best were actually Adams back in the day. And what they did is they gave you 3 or 4 year old technology and at a significantly lower price. But I would look at price tags on these golf in a box at no less than about $700-800 a box. Yes, they do make stuff that is lower, but with that comes lower quality. And we're talking about being on a golf team, so you really want something to be working. And at $700-800, that's like 1.5 drivers now, and he's getting a whole bag. So yeah, I wouldn't say that. And then just have them modified, and just cut down and modified. Try that. All righty. How many grams lost when cutting a driver shaft to playing length? They say uncut shaft is at 46 is 48 grams. You cut it to play 40-inch playing lengths. What would the shaft weigh? Oh, what is it? It's about a gram or two for each inch. So probably about 3 grams, 3 or 4 grams. Because when you put the 46 in, you're going to have a bottom to ground bore, particularly on a Titleist, probably about 1.5 inches. So you're going to cut off maybe 2 inches in order to get to it. Just a couple of grams. Ooh, can even be put into drinks? Apple butter can even be put into drinks.
Try it like Kiss Caramel.
Ooh, Robin likes this Kiss Caramel vodka. Maybe go in there. Casual Golf, they got all their digital equipment. Very cool. Digital looks really cool when they do that. As you've seen on mine, I got the ancient stuff. Let's see if I go back to the banners or we got comments. Brand, here we go. Somewhere in here. There you go. You see mine. Mine's the ancient one. But it does clubs on both directions, and it also can. I'm almost there. It can also do hybrids and fairway woods too. So that's something that the new stuff normally doesn't do unless they've changed their models. But yeah, the digital stuff's cool. I like where the bar slides back and forth. I find that to be very, very handy, and it's very smooth. Looks really good in the shop. Oh, you said girls. I thought it was a guy. Sorry. Oh, the petite ladies are still too tall. Man, I read that totally wrong, didn't I?
Maybe they're short.
Hmm?
I read it the other way, like you did.
Well, here's another one where the things are too tall. Okay. Well, again, they do make teens. I would still stick with the teens idea. And they do make girls teens as well as guy teens. And the other one is this petite ladies still too tall? If you think that that would work, if the petite ladies is where that person needs to be in, the performance of the heads and the shaft and the flex and stuff, just get those in a set and then go have them cut down and put new grips on them. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that because it was really nice. Flew in from Washington State to Michigan. Woo wee. Dennis Hood is in the house. Glad to see warmer weather. Normally, the weight and swing weight of the irons should. Nashville area. Okay. I'm not sure about I'm not sure what the rest of that was. Steve says, Happy Veterans Day to all who serve and continue to serve. My dad was a senior chief. All right. Yes, reserves. Nicely done, sir. I see Golf Pride released the V55 for a limited time. I think they should keep him in the Matrix. That was that victory grip. The 55, the original victory grip. I think I might actually have one or two in the drawers back there. No, I don't. And you know what? I think that would be very nostalgic, but I just don't know how long it would stay in there. If it was a very tacky rubber like in their CP2s, I think it'd be a big hit. Darren Martell.
I didn't see that one.
You didn't see that one? I find my new clubs a few swing weights too heavy. If I disassemble them, would there be weights in them I could remove to get the desired swing weight with a lighter grip? Did we put something together?
Not for him.
Huh? No? Okay. Not necessarily, Darren. I need to know a little bit more. I'm sorry I'm chewing in front of you guys. We'd have to know a little bit more. Is the club longer by design? That would give you the slightly heavier swing weight. If you ordered it with at a specific swing weight, then yeah, there might be some in there, and it also depends on the brand that you bought. The people that I see that use a lot of tip weights in their builds are Mizuno and Titleist. The rest of them, not so much. Only on a select few items, but as a whole, those two do. So if you have those, maybe so. If not, as much as if they're brand new clubs and taking them apart, what I might suggest is, and I do this with a lot of reservation too, by the way, is you might take a grip off and put some weight behind it and see if that doesn't work better for you. I'm not a big fan of doing that, but at the risk of keeping your club's original, so you're not messing with it, then you might try that. Jack King, hi Jim and Rob from Lombard. Had a great 41. What? Great day. Ship 41 for 9 today. Wow. Okay. Oh no, that's a good day. That's a heck of a day. All right, Dimbaga, thank you and Jim and all the other vets, McGolf extended family. Jim, I am hoping to touch base with you and Robin this week about another wedge order and build. All right. Give the shop a call and have a couple of questions. Thanks so much. Love the first wedge you did for me. Just wore them out. That's a lot of golf, man. Good job. John Lamb, Charles, mine was 46 on the draft number. I am Canadian, but as we were living down there and I turned 18, Uncle Sam said, have I got a job for you? Bus to Cincinnati for my physical. Good for you. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The multi-playability factor. That's the they put out a book and they updated their website and they have it online. You very well may get what you're looking for there. John Lamb, thank you for your service. You are correct, sir. I had to hitchhike back from Florida. Whoo-wee, look at you. Manuel says he likes the milled putter, but he's not sure about the 21% better roll. Yeah, you got to watch some of that marketing. The 21% better roll is on miss, right? Is that right where it says on the miss strikes? Not necessarily on the hit, because you hit in the middle, it's going to be the perfect roll. How do you get better roll on a perfect shot? That'd be a good question. Normally, should all irons have an equal or almost equal weights and swing weights for wedges and for fairways? All right, so in irons, from whatever iron to the pitch and wedge or the gap wedge, those should be very close to the same. The wedges normally will be a swing weight or two heavier. The fairways will actually be lighter, and like the driver will be lighter. But these if you had D2 here, it might be D0 here, might be D 3 or 4 down here. Jody Rise, howdy howdy McPeeps. What's your take on Cerakoting irons? Does it affect the grooves less spin? Is what I know of Cerakoting, and it's only from Guns. If you just were to dip an iron, the answer would be yes. All right. If you were to take take the coating off, like remove the exterior coatings on it, and you're going to apply that in its place, then probably not. That's a lot of work, though, and a lot of protection, because I don't know how durable the Cerakote would be on going through sand or the fertilizer, that kind of stuff, and take that constant punishment. I hear you got stuck in a chair getting my exercises. Oh, I hear you. Not getting stuck in the chair, getting my exercises 3 times a day. Nice. Very good. That's what we want to hear. I say that, Stephen, that's near and dear to my heart. I had a really good friend of mine. He went through that, and the first time he got his hip replaced. He was very faithful to it, came away, was happy as a clam. Unfortunately, both of his hips were just bad at the same time. So he waited and waited and waited and got the other one done at a different place, which I'd never understood that particular thought, but got it all done, and it was much, much more painful. And because it was painful, he refused to get up out of the chair, and it almost locked him up. When he finally got going, they had to physically stretch him a couple of times and break him loose in order to get going. And he paid for it. He recovered, but man, oh man, did he pay for it. And then he said, and his knees were bad. And I said, well, it's time for the knees. He said, oh, my hips are fine. I said, good. Now go get the knees. So I don't know if he ever did. Ron G says he's had both his hips replaced. I have my life back. Good for you, sir. Peasy, what do you say, bud? I'll have to watch afterwards. I bought a carbon fiber pool shaft. Wouldn't you know, the same price. Okay. What we got here? Night Ninja 01. All right. Here's a new one. How much of a difference is there between the 223s and the 243s? I'm a 20 handicap and love the feel of the Mizunos, and I'm finding 223 is a decent price. Honest opinion, if that's what you're doing and you're at a 20 handicap and you just like the way they feel, you're not going to see a huge change in difference. They look good, but so do the other ones. They're just ever so. Now, what they did this year, they tweaked them to the better. They're a better club head, but at a 20 handicapper, you're not going to notice the difference. So I would go with the 223s. Casual golf. You ever heard of Star Grips? Absolutely. I got a whole bunch of them. Thinking about becoming a dealer. They are designed to blow off the compressor, no glue required. That is very much true. And matter of fact, I would never ever use glue. I know that was a popular thing, and some people still do it. Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. Tape and solvent work. I put everything on with tape and solvent, and I put on Star Grips with tape and solvent. Works fine. I've never got the real feel for where they would not turn. Do they turn? In a lot of cases, no. Will they turn in just a very few cases? Yeah. There's cases of them out there turning. The best way to do it is put a layer of that blue painter's tape on, blow them right over the top. Shouldn't have a problem. I've played with blowing it on and off. I got the gun, I got the thing. Just never really came into the existence of wanting to do that. In reality, you can do it with most grips, save the synthetic styles. And but you're right, the Star Grips are, and they last a lot longer too, and they got a lot of different colors. So there's a lot to be said about becoming a dealer. All right. Yes, had bone on bone. Heard similar stories like yours. Teaching myself to walk again. Good. Lots of new hips here. Mine for 5 weeks. All righty. Look at that. Had both hips replaced at HSS doctor. Same. Replaced in January 22. Very good. Like to hear that. All right. Here we go. Thanks. Just have so many options. It gets confusing what to like. I go to the PGA Tour Superstore and grab what's on the used rack and test from there. Well, if that's all you got, man, that's where you want to go with it. The honestly, even a 20 handicap, wherever you might be, I would also look into a fitting. Okay, you like the feel of a Mizuno, that is fine, and you can make sure that the person you're going to get fitted by has the capability of touching those to see if maybe there's not another Mizuno out there that you like. At a 20 handicap, they've got the 243s are nice to be sure, but if you went with like a Hot Metal Pro, you might get just a tremendous change in the way your game is played and still be on Mizuno and still get that feel. But at 20, I would certainly suggest going to get fit. You'd be shocked at how much better that the club will feel when you're done. CHS baseball. Left hip replaced 6 weeks ago, at home doing the PT right now, listening to your show. Very good. Man, we should call this the replaced hip edition. Very good indeed. You are welcome, sir. All righty, guys. We've gone down to the end. We've gone over another 20 minutes as we usually do, which is all fine and dandy by me. But it is time to hit the trail. Again, thank you guys from around the world for tuning in. I think this one was a very fun one to have. Happy Veterans Day to all you guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Tell your friends so that we can get more subscribers and more likes and views on this thing. That's just the long and the short of it, right? And we love going over these questions, and hopefully have more for you next week. And which we're getting to close to the Thanksgiving Day the Turkey Day edition.
Oh,
Yep, getting close to Turkey Day. So hopefully you get to be with some friends and family. And as always, guys, let's see your scores go low.